Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Bookskers and Purrs. My name's Leslie, and today I'm going to be participating in the Finally Fall book tag. Kat from Kat's Novels Adventure just recently did this, and it just seemed like so cute and so much fun that I thought I'd just kind of hop on in. All right, so getting started. In fall, the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. All right, I have a couple of books, and I decided to go the children's book route. There's Amos and Boris by William Steig. This is so cute. I still read this, and it's very much a tearjerker. It really is about these, this mouse and whale that are absolute strangers, and they end up leaning on each other at different stages of their life. It's just a really beautiful story about friendship, and just going on the journey of their like the intimate experiences of just meandering and bonding together. And so yes, very vivid settings. There's also The Rough Faced Girl by Rafe Martin and David Shannon. Now, when I was a little girl, there used to be this show called Story Time. I think that's what it was called. There'd be like a little group of kids, and there was like kind of like a puppet character mascot, and there would always be a guest that would show up and read a book. And so, from a very young age, this story stood out to me because it's basically a Cinderella retelling. And I think I was really captivated by how nature is used to tell the story. And, even though I'm an adult to this day, if I read a book and it involves nature to deliver like an emotion or piece of information, I'm there all the way. So this is one of them. I don't know if you can see it too well. And this is another one. This one's like really cool. So lastly, my daughter actually suggested this. So this is not something I would usually have suggested, but I give in. It's called Dogzilla. And it's by Dav Pilkey. One of her, I guess you could say uncles, like a friend, gave this to her such a long time ago. And it's just so silly that I just started laughing immediately when she suggested that book and thought, you know what, let me include it. So that's for the first prompt. The second one is Nature is Beautiful but Also Dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. And so I chose Akwaeke Emezi's The Death of Vivek Oji. This is another one that you could really tie into The Rough Faced Girl, about how much I love when nature is included into a story. It's not like heavy in here, it's just like peppered throughout to talk about not necessarily reincarnation, but just like how the life cycle, how we return back to the earth. And oh, sorry, there. It's just really beautiful. I don't want to say too much about this, but this is definitely worth picking up if you've never read it. Also, everything this author writes is incredible. So they could write any genre, and they really are. Fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. Well, it's been a while since I've read this, but there's The Five by Holly Rubenhold, and I don't really see a lot of people in the book sphere talking about this. It's the untold lives of the women killed by Jack the Ripper. And so what the author did was really dig into historical facts, just did a lot of research, and is really piecing together that there's a false narrative that's basically become and into the popular zeitgeist that the people that Jack the Ripper unalived were prostitutes. But what the author is stating here is that's actually not the case. And if anything, that narrative um, just kind of like proliferated and was a way to kind of like actually over time kind of treat like these women that they weren't worth looking into. Um, Looking into what happened to them wasn't worth it. You know, but by society standards, unfortunately. But so I just feel like I really wish more people would read this, and it's definitely worth your while. I found it really captivating. So yeah. All right, the next prompt. In order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with people we love. Name a fictional family, household, friend group that you'd like to be a part of. And that would be any of the characters from Travis Baldry's Legends and Lattes. I just love this book. This is the first cozy fantasy read I have ever dug into, and nothing has really hit quite right like this. Even the prequel that came out, it's no Legends and Lattes. There's just something about the main character Viv leaving their former life behind, starting anew, and making this coffee shop and actually a community building, even though they're kind of like not sure what they're doing. It's just so beautiful and in a way like it's a very simple, cozy, like low stakes book. And when you're reading it, you kind of realize that not like how do I say building the coffee shop is like a bit of a metaphor for what Viv is going through, and that is just this is someone that's like rebuilding themselves. Yeah, it's really beautiful, very very sweet. All right, the colorful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall colored spines. Oh my goodness, I don't know where this ends. All right, here we go. I have a giant stack over here, by the way. All right, make sure you check out. Can I even get this all in here? Into the screen. Doo-doo-doo. Yep, that's as good as it gets. Um, these are all great books to read during this fall season. I'd say pick them up, pick them up. And I'm running out of room, so we'll see. Fall is a perfect time for storytelling by the fireside. Share a book where somebody is telling a story. Well, actually, I could use one from the spine books as well. So I have two for you. All right, I'll share two. One is the Joy Luck Club, just because I happen to be at the top of the pile. This is definitely like a multi-generational tale. Made into a movie, I think back in the 90s, I think. And you know what? It still hits. Amy Tan and Anne Rice were both the writers that like just pummeled into my life that really made me like really elevated my love of reading. And even though I think maybe I could do for a reread of this because I felt like I read this when I was very young, um, Amy Tan really just taps into the disconnection, the misunderstanding, all the love and hope we have for our families, whether we get along or not, and also the strength of women, and also repeating cycles, unfortunately. So that's one. And the other one is Say Nothing, A True Story of Murder and Memory in Northern Ireland by Patrick Radden Keefe. I'm just going to review the back. I have not read this yet. I just picked this up recently from Stories Bookstore, and it was riveting. I had no business picking up another book, but I'm going to add this to my agenda next year. I will be reading this. It sounds fascinating. And it says in December 1972, Jean McConville, a 38-year-old mother of 10, was dragged from the Belfast home by mass intruders. Her children clinging to her legs. They never saw her again. Everyone in the neighborhood knew that IRA was responsible, but in a climate of fear and paranoia, no one would speak of it. And that's bone chilling. So, and that's also a part of history that I don't know enough about, and I would like to. So that's another part of why it's so riveting to me. The nights are getting dark. Share a dark, creepy read. And if that's not dark and creepy enough, the nights see The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. This author has written so many horror books. One day I want to be like a whole project where I just read his work, but I'm nowhere near doing that. I want to say this is the first book I ever read by the author, and man, oh man. um, this author writes this. I have to say, there's like it's divided by sections, and each section seems to be like a love letter to all these different authors that came before him. Like the first third is a haunted house telling in a way. The second third is like a slasher, and the third is kind of like a monster story, but all telling one tale. And it's about a group of gentlemen that I think they take out one too many. Is it elk? Oh my gosh, I'm already forgetting. Yeah, I don't want to mess it up. Basically, there is basically this animal that kind of goes on a tale of revenge. So it's very much about like respecting nature, and if you don't, there are consequences for it. And it's very chilling, and it was very effective, incredibly visual and gruesome at times. So yes, creepy indeed. All right, the days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold. Oh, somebody's cold and rainy day. Sorry. All right, I have a lot of choices for that. I'm trying to figure out how many I'm going to talk about. These all work. Like I have so many good choices. All right. So recently I've been on an Emma Bennett kick. I have two of her books with me, but I have plenty more to read. This is a Christmas one, A Christmas Truce, but the Christmas portion doesn't come till like the end. This is one of those rare romances I read that felt incredibly refreshing in terms of how the writer writes the characters, and actually we're reading the story from like the female protagonist point of view. But even when I'm reading A Christmas Truce, I still feel like I still understand what the potential love interest is thinking, and that just takes like such a clever craft in order to do. And yeah, so love this. I blasted through this. I also blasted through Starstruck, which is about a woman that runs their own inn, and someone from their past comes into their lives. They're both at a point of transition, but this potential love interest is also like a well-known rock star. Um, and so yeah, hilarity ensues. It's very, very cute, a very bingeable read. And lastly, The Love Con by Ceresia Glass. Now, this may be the very, 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 very first romance that I read, and I think this is what really kicked off my my I guess you could say curiosity to do my challenge this year, which is to read one romance a month this year to kind of figure out what kind of romance I like. The Love Con really and created a world that's engrossing because the main character runs their own cosplay costume business and enters in a competition. So you're getting cosplay, you're getting a competition, you're getting a little bit of elements of a reality show. And so it's also like friends to lovers. And so I'm not really a fan of like enemies to lovers. So dipping into a friends to lovers really worked for me. And so, yeah, this is definitely an author I enjoy. They don't only just write romance, so I want to read their other work as well. I just haven't gotten it, but this is also felt very cozy. All right. The other prompt is fall returns every year. Name an old favorite that you'd like to return to. And I also have a little stack. And it's definitely not just kids, but there's some kids ones in here. The first one is the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. I was not expecting to love this so much. I actually read this out loud with my daughter. I think we took turns, and it's written in the form of letters. This is also made into a movie. This deals with a group of people um, in Guernsey, and they're dealing with just, trying to put one foot in step of the other after everything, all the tragedies of a world war. Um, it really taps into community, loving each other, looking after each other. Um, and there's just so much heart in here. And although there is like a tiny bit of a love story, which I really loved about the movie adaptation, because it's really about the love of each other and like their found family. And I could watch that movie all day, every day, and I could read this book over and over again. So this is definitely something I want to return to. Every year I read Happy Haunting Amelia Bedelia. It's tradition now. um, I loved Amelia Bedelia as a kid. It's just so silly to read a character that takes someone's words so literal. And yes, it's just a very sweet read after all these years. And, talk about leaving an impression on a kid and how important books are, right? Because that was like when I was really little and I still remember it. And I still hold on to those memories, and the Amelia Bedelia books, hold on to them so fondly. And lastly, I have two. Ooh, it's a duology. And that is Garlic and the Vampire and Garlic and the Witch. So both of these. This is a duology that's about an anxiety-ridden garlic that helps the local witch. In fact, the local witch created them as well as the other vegetables. Uh, they just live together, they work the land, and garlic finds themselves going on adventures they did not plan on being a part of. And as scared as they are, they find within themselves the courage to be brave and look after their community. It's really adorable, and also with that, make new friends and new discoveries. It's very sweet. Oh yeah, they're basically like comic books, right? The graphic novels, and they're adorable, and the series itself was just wrapped up so beautifully. I don't know how the author did it, but they did an incredible job. All right. Fall is a perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessories. Oh, I have so many. Um, as I mentioned, Legends and Lattes. I splurged, I think for my daughter's birthday, on this cup, a Legends and Lattes cup. And also, this is like for the second book, the Thistleburn Booksellers, which is the name of the bookstore. in the prequel. And so I love drinking some hot drinks, some chaparrado or my Mexican hot chocolate. Um, I do tend to use my Yeti, which, by the way, Kat brought up the Yeti too, which is so funny. But I always have water on hand. Oh yeah, and then also you always see this. It's always on the back of my chair, or it's a blanket throw, or you'll see me using it during the productivity sprints. Now that the weather's changing, as much as the California weather can, I got it from Eighth Generation. Um, their motto is basically inspired natives, not native inspired. And I have a little bit about the artist. It says Michelle Loden from Ocoma Pueblo specializes in hand painted Pueblo jewelry. She draws inspiration from her family's history of illustrious potters. This careful eyes. This careful eyes shows in her intricate line work and Southwest geometric design. Michelle is the owner and operator of Milo Creations. So, Eighth Generation carries products that are made by people that are indigenous. And so, anytime I decide to get a blanket for my family, I try to just buy from that one company. They have jewelry and stuff, but I love blankets. I have way too many blankets. So, yeah, I'm always tossing myself in that one. Also, I have, this is from my local coffee shop in Koreatown. It's called Cafe Nemo, and they have a pumpkin tea. It's so good. It's 60% pumpkin and 40% red bean, and so it's really smooth. And I'm running out. I'm running out, so I have to fill it up. A couple of things I'm running out of. There's also mint tea. He has a business, like independent little business. I found out about him on Instagram, and I've been ordering from him ever since. So I have a lot of teas and I have a lot of coffee. And the coffee that I ran out of, and also tea, is from Native Ground Coffee. So this is all I have left. I keep this so I won't forget where I got the coffee and tea from. Their tea is absolutely divine, the caffeinated tea, and it doesn't give me like heart palpitations because coffee kind of does. Like whenever I make coffee, kind of like water it down a little bit. And yeah, their teas make me feel alert, but not like neurotic. So yeah. What else? I wish you could smell this. I'm not a big fan of incense, but what do you call it? A local coffee shop. I can't think of the name right now. I want to kick myself, but they have these like incense cones, and I usually don't like incense because they gave me a headache. I don't know why. They just do. There's so many scents I can't handle, but this one has like a tobacco smell and cedar and fir needle, and something about that mix works perfectly for me. It's so nice and calming. But it's not like overwhelming as well. If it was remotely sweet, I wouldn't be able to handle it. And lastly, accessory. I made this and I'm starting to make more. I want to get good at like making book cozies. So I make them and then I try to make them based on like what a book color scheme is. So for this one, it was Sanditon, and I just saw that it had those yellows and like a pale color to it. So yeah. And I just think it looks cute. It looks cute around the apartment. A nice little accessory to brighten up. And I have different colors, so like I'll have some out based on the season, which is probably ridiculous, but I like to do it anyways, you know? A nice waffle stitch. I forget what this one. It's like fish or like the herring stitch or something like that. But yeah, those are all my fall accessories I can think of. Um, and last but not least, spread the autumn appreciation and tag some people. So I will be tagging some people. Their names will be in the details in case you're interested in their channels. I'm sure you already know about them, but just in case. And I think there's a couple of new people that I happen to notice in the booktube community. So I just want to go ahead and tag them as well. If I did not tag you, that's okay. Do the tag anyways. I just saw that Kat did this and I thought, you know what, this sounds like fun. All right, everyone. If you stayed here for this long, thank you so much for supporting my channel. I appreciate it. I did see that there's like an uptick in subscribers, so thank you for your support. I enjoy spending time with every one of you. And I'm just sending lots of love your way, and I will see you in the chat.